This is the new Kia Sorento. It's big, it's hybrid, it's reasonably priced. What more could you ask for? Watch this to find out. This is the fourth generation of the Korean SUV. Launched in 2002, the first Sorento was built on a ladder frame, but the next two generations ditched the off-road pedigree in exchange for better on-road handling. The new Kia Sorento is on a new platform, which should be even better on the road. And to make sure the U in SUV stands for utility rather than useless, Kia also offers new all-wheel drive system. More on that later. The new Sorento is literally 1 centimeter longer and 1 centimeter wider than the third-gen model and is now 481 centimeters long and 190 centimeters wide. At 281.5 centimeters, the wheelbase is 3.5 centimeters longer. Depending on the trim and powertrain, Kia Sorento can have 17 to 20-inch rims. In the front, the most prominent feature is the flat, sharp-ending bonnet. The A-pillars were moved back a couple of centimeters to optically extend the silhouette of the car. From the side, the silver tooth around the C-pillar grabs attention, and probably grabbing attention is its only function. In the back, vertical tail lamps are supposed to remind us of the bigger Telluride. The new Kia Sorento comes with a 2.2-liter diesel mated to an 8-speed new generation DCT or with a hybrid powertrain like this one here. It's a 1.6 turbo petrol engine with an electric motor. A PHEV will launch in 2021. I know, this car weighs 1,850 kilograms and a 1.6-liter engine is less than what Toyota offers in the Corolla and not much more than in the Yaris. This is going to be dead slow. Well, let's see. The internal combustion engine may only be a 1.6-liter, but together with the electric motor, Kia Sorento has 230 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque. It can also tow up to 1,650 kilograms. The diesel can tow up to 2.5 tons. Kia says the hybrid Sorento will use between 6.8 and 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined WLTP. That's a bit optimistic because I'm getting closer to 9 liters per 100 kilometers. Interestingly, I achieved about 7 and a bit around town, but on the motorway, fuel consumption can jump to 10 liters. That's on a Polish motorway where the speed limit is 140 kilometers per hour. At 120 kilometers per hour, fuel consumption dropped to about 9 liters. Kia's hybrid powertrain leaves no place for you to play around. There is no EV mode like in Toyota. The computer decides everything for you. Besides the constantly visible traction battery level indicator, more hybrid data is available only deeper inside the onboard computer menus. Kia's digital dash, or the Super Vision cluster, is now standard across the range. Patterns can change along with the drive modes, or you can display a nice panorama which shows you different views depending on the day and weather. It's nice enough, but not really necessary. Much more interesting is the blind spot view monitor available on the top trim model. Some car makers are experimenting with replacing wing mirrors with cameras and screens. For example, Audi e-tron has the displays on the doors, and Lexus ES and Honda E have them somewhere here around the A-pillars. Now, Kia doesn't take away traditional mirrors, they are still here, but when you turn on the indicator, image from the cameras mounted under the mirrors is displayed in the Super Vision cluster thing. I think it's a much more intuitive solution because the image is displayed where the driver is actually looking and not somewhere where many drivers don't look at all. Image from the camera is clear during the day as well as during the night. I drove at night during the rain and the lenses remained clean, although my colleague, who also is a car journalist, said In his case, there were water droplets on the cameras all the time. I wish it was possible to get the image up on the screen without using the indicator. Why? I could use it during parking maneuvers. This camera shows the rear wheel, so it would be very useful to see during parallel parking or making a tight turn. Unfortunately, during such maneuvers, a small turn of the steering wheel usually turns the indicator off and the image disappears instantly. On the other hand, it's called the blind spot view monitor, so maybe Kia will expand its functionality in the future. By the way, for a relatively large SUV, at least by European standards, the Kia Sorento offers good visibility. It's easy to maneuver, although I wouldn't mind a parking assist feature. For now, there is a remote parking feature, but only on the diesel version, and everyone has to get out of the car. Here I have a 360 camera and cross-traffic alert system. The Kia Sorento has a dial button to select drive modes. The car always starts in Eco mode. You can switch to Sport or Smart. In Smart mode, the car recognizes your driving style and adjusts the mode accordingly. In Sport mode, the steering becomes heavier and the 6-speed automatic gearbox holds the revs higher and longer. Kia promises the Sorento will accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in 9 seconds and from 80 to 120 km per hour in 6 seconds. I checked, and this is more or less what I got. Also, the results are almost the same regardless of the mode, albeit I got slightly better results in Eco mode. Kia also improved the ride. You can now glide over speed bumps like in a BMW. I didn't notice anything that would unsettle the suspension, like for example sewer covers that make some of Mercedes SUVs feel like the rear wheels are skipping sideways. But unlike the BMW, the Kia Sorento is set for comfort rather than sporty driving. Take your foot off the gas way ahead of a turn. The Sorento likes to lean in fast bends, and the all-wheel drive system is working overtime to prevent understeer. Soundproofing is phenomenal. The driver doesn't need to raise their voice to talk with the passengers in the third row. Also, the driver aids are getting better. In earlier generations of the Sorento, safety systems would beep all the time and be a general annoyance, and you'd just turn them off. Here, the warning sound chimes much later when it's really time to react. It's not the new Volkswagen Tiguan stuff yet, but definitely better than Mazda CX-5 or the Toyota RAV4. Under normal circumstances, the drive mode dial works only for road modes. However, press it and you get access to the terrain settings. You can choose between snow, mud and sand modes. Kia assures it revamped the all-wheel drive system to better cope in these situations, but at the same time it says in the manual to avoid puddles or mud deeper than under the wheel hubs. To be on the safe side, I decided to check the terrain system on my diagonal hill approach, where two wheels lose traction. The first attempt is in mud program. I stopped the car halfway, so the all-wheel drive system has to figure out what to do when traction on two wheels is limited. The car got to the top of the hill, although I felt it sliding a lot to the left. The second attempt is in snow program, and this time the car stopped halfway by itself because the all-wheel drive system couldn't cope with the obstacle. I switched back to mud and it continued no problem. So, these modes are not a gimmick and they actually do something. Mazda can talk all it wants about being a premium brand these days, but I suggest Mazda marketing people sit inside a Kia Sorento. Yes, there is a lot of piano black and screens which collect dust and fingerprints, but Mazda is guilty of that as well. I like the discreet ambient lighting. There's an LED running across the dash, and on the doors under this scale-like motif you can see lights at night. That's nice. Also, you can relax listening to the sounds of rain, sea, winter, fireplace, a cafe, etc. Beside the 12-inch screen in front of the driver, which we talked about earlier, there is also a 10.25-inch central display with the new UVO Connect infotainment system. UVO is online and it provides information about weather, parking, POIs, traffic, etc. Sync it with the mobile app and you can send planned routes from your mobile device to the car. There is also the last mile guidance from the car to the doorstep. You can also check the car status, where it is parked, and so on. The system is responsive enough, although as far as I'm concerned, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are the most important these days. No, Android Auto directions are not displayed on the screen in front of the driver, nor on the HUD. Shame. And I wish there was a dedicated home button next to the display, not on it. Some AC controls remain physical, and some are a touch panel, another place to wipe your fingerprints and dust from. I like that the air vents split, so the upper part I can close so it doesn't blow on my wrists, or in this case on my shoulder, and there is a lower part which can blow air on some other parts of my body. And there must be something wrong with the thermostat here, because I'm either too cold or too hot, or maybe I'm just too old. Door pockets are ridiculously small for this big a car. They are good enough for a small bottle. The glove box is also small, at least the phone cubby is larger, and there is an induction charger in it as well, all under a piano black cover. This is also where the USB ports and a 12-volt socket are located. Storage under the armrest is generous. On the center tunnel, beside the drive mode selector dial, there are also heated and ventilated seat switches, as well as buttons for heated steering wheel, camera, auto hold, etc. And another knob is the gear selector. I like the clean design aspect, but I'm not a fan of using it. But it's not a deal breaker. In the back, there is a lot of legroom and headroom. The seats slide to make more space for passengers in the third row. Cup holders are in the doors, very big, also in the armrest. Under the air vents, there is a USB port and a 12-volt socket. Additional USB ports are here in the seats. Also, in the version which has electric seats, you can operate the seat from back here so that you can make more space for a child seat or whatever. Side seats are heated and there are ISOFIX points here. No seat mounting option in the middle, also none on the front passenger seat. Access to the third row seems easy. Seats in the second row fold and slide at the touch of a button. There are even grab handles on the C-pillars to make access easier, but the door opening is quite low. I hit my back. Kids have to watch out for their heads. Two seats in the back are for kids rather than adults. This time at least, there are two ISOFIX mounting points back here. I had an interesting conversation about this with one of my viewers who pointed out it's hard to find a car with enough space in the back to mount two rear-facing child seats, which are recommended for safety reasons. And even if you manage to install them, there is no place for an adult to sit in the middle and supervise the kids. Also, child seat in the second row limits access to the third row. Actually, it prevents it completely. So it's complicated logistics, something for you to think about if you're planning to enlarge your family. In the back, there are controls for a separate climate zone. Also, there are 2 more USB ports and a 12-volt socket, cup holders under the elbows for some reason, and a place to put away a smartphone, a game console, or other toys. I spent about half an hour in the back here. Legroom and headroom are tight, but as far as the ride is concerned, it is very comfortable back here, even when the Sorento is going over bumps. And thanks to good soundproofing, you can have a normal conversation with people in the front. Kia still offers its smart tailgate system, which means the tailgate will open as you approach the car from the back. Watch out, because it will start opening even if the car is parked in a garage and you came to open the gate. The 7-seater Kia Sorento has, depending on the seat arrangement, 179, 813 or 1,996 liters boot capacity. The diesel gets a bit more and the 5-seater version gets even more. The traction battery is under the floor, but this small underfloor storage here is taken up by some other gear, so the boot cover has to be mounted on top. The seats are easy to fold and unfold. 813 liters in 5-seat configuration is with the seats slid all the way forward. In their standard position, the boot volume is closer to 600 liters, just like in the 3rd gen. You can close the boot with a button on the tailgate. There is now a separate button to lock the car as well. And the spare tire is under the car. Prices of the new Kia Sorento start at €41,400 for a front-wheel drive diesel and €42,400 for a front-wheel drive hybrid. Add $4,500 for 4-wheel drive. This test car is a hybrid all-wheel drive. The trim is called XL in Poland or Platinum in Germany, and it starts at €54,900 with options closer to $58,000. That's in Germany, but you can get it $10,000 cheaper in Poland. Is the new Kia Sorento everything you can ask for? I'd love to get a leather beige interior, not the grey-black combination. And the fuel economy figures on the motorway are inadequate to performance. Otherwise, this is a lot of car for the money. And how do you like the new Kia Sorento? Maybe you own one of the older generations. How is it to live with? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing car reviews, join me every Friday at 3 p.m. Central European Time. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.